Hello there. Sorry, I'm quite busy. I'm in the middle of organising a party for somebody. It's going to be a really big one, and hopefully it will be able to happen because it's not going to be taking place for quite a while. But if you've got something big to organise, you've got to start really soon. And I wish you would be able to help me, because I'm not sure why I was picked. I'm sure there's lots of better people to organise a party than me. But anyway, I've got here lots of people who are going to help me. I've got people organising decorations at the left-hand side of the room. So there's Andrew, and there's Beryl, and there's Charlie, and there's Dennis, and there's Edna, and Faisal, and Greta. They're doing the decorations at the left-hand side of the room. Then I've got the right-hand side of the room. And so there's Hortense, and Phyllis, and Wilbur, and Marilyn, and Thomas, and all those are doing there. And then, you see, I've got people organising the food, and people doing the decorations on the table, and people making sure there's music to play, and all sorts of things. I've got lots and lots of people involved. You know, I hope there's going to be enough people left to be guests at the party. But you know what? I think I'm going to have a rest now from this and tell you a story about a man called Gideon who had something big to organise, and he wondered why he was chosen. Gideon lived a long time ago. He was big and strong, and he was in charge of a massive army. He was one of God's people. The Midianites attacked and tried to invade. So Gideon organised thousands and thousands of soldiers to fight the Midianites off. Oh, sorry. Excuse me a moment. What's that? I've got it wrong? No, I can't have. I definitely know that Gideon fought off a massive army. What are you saying? He didn't have a massive army himself? And he wasn't big and strong? But he was one of God's people, so at least I got that bit right. Tell you what, I'll go and do my research, and then I'll come back and tell you the story properly. Thanks for that. Bye. Gideon lived a long time ago. Now, Gideon was the least important person in his family. He got all the rotten jobs to do. And his family was the least important family in the area. Gideon didn't just get left out when teams were picked, his whole family got left out. Now, to make matters worse, another army from a place called Midian had invaded and conquered the land. That meant that Gideon and his people had to do lots of jobs in secret, so the enemy soldiers didn't attack them. There was a big army of Midianites. That's what the people from Midian were called, and they were camped nearby. The Midianites were snarling and making fun of Gideon's people. They would shake their fists and look really mean. Gideon's people, meanwhile, shook with fear and looked really scared. One day, God sent an angel to speak to Gideon. The angel said, "Hello, brave and mighty man." Gideon looked around, puzzled. He thought the angel must have got the wrong person. However, the angel was in the right place. He told Gideon that he would lead an army that would defeat the Midianites and kick them out. Gideon looked even more puzzled. "Who? Me?" he said. "I'm the least important person in the least important family. Surely you want someone else." But the angel assured Gideon that he was the right person and told him to get ready. Now Gideon wasn't sure what to do. What would you do if you had to get ready to fight a battle? There must have been lots of planning involved. Well, Gideon got himself an army. They got ready to fight. Gideon looked at his army. There were a lot of them, but there were a lot of Midianites too. Then God said something strange to Gideon. He said that there were too many men in his army. Gideon thought he must have got it wrong. He was worried that there weren't enough men. Gideon looked puzzled, but God told him that he would help Gideon to win the battle, and so he didn't need all that many men. So Gideon sent away anyone who was a little bit scared. Over half the men went away. He was left with about 10,000 men, But God said that he still had too many men. Gideon looked at his army. Gideon looked at the Midianites and looked even more worried. But he knew that he should listen to God. So he sent the men to the river for a drink. Now some men knelt down and lapped the water like a dog. In a battle they'd easily be attacked if they were looking down. So Gideon sent them away. So Gideon was left with 300 men who scooped up the water with their hands. And God gave him some strange instructions about how to fight the battle. They were a bit strange, and Gideon still wondered how they would work. Gideon had to split the men into 3 groups. They were given trumpets and pots and torches. At night they were told to stand at different places around the Midianite camp. On a signal they had to wave their torches, blow their trumpets, drop their pots, and they had to shout for Gideon and for God. Now those might sound strange instructions, but Gideon realised that God knows best, and so he ordered his men and gave them their instructions. He got them ready, and that night they took action. For Gideon and for God! The Midianites were asleep when they heard the noise. They thought that a massive army was attacking them. They were scared and confused. They were so confused that they started fighting amongst themselves. Gideon's army hardly had any fighting to do. The Midianites who weren't killed in the chaos just ran away. All of Gideon's people looked at him and gave a big cheer. Hooray! When I was planning the party earlier, perhaps I was getting too worried about having everything just right and getting loads of people to do loads of things. I forgot what was really important about everyone having a good time. I didn't need lots of people, just good advice from 1 or 2. Gideon knew what was important. He wasn't big or strong, but he listened to God. God gave him a big, important job to do, getting rid of the enemy army. At first he worried about getting a big army and all the planning that he was going to do, but then God showed him exactly what he had to do. God helped him to do something amazing. It's good to have lots of friends around, to support us and to help us, but we should never think we're too little or too weak or too small to do something amazing. God helped Gideon, and he will help us too. Gideon trusted God to help him, and God helped win a wonderful victory. We can trust God to help us too. But I wonder who else would be a good person for you to trust when you need help. I wonder what amazing things you could do with just a little help.